So here we are, China. Hey folks, welcome back. As requested, it's another Hearts of Iron 4 playthrough for you guys. I know you've been loving the other ones I've got up on the channel. There's been a lot of requests for different countries, but I wanted something that's going to be very different and quite a bit more challenging than what I've played before. So I've opted for China. I know some of you have probably guessed it's going to be this. Yeah, China, World War II with historical AI focuses. So it's going to go pretty much like the course of World War II does, which means probably bad news for China. They've got a lot of things that they're going to have to overcome. Not the least of which is going to be the Japanese invasion that we suspect will probably come. And perhaps a later communist uprising. We shall see. There's also another disastrous event that can happen for China later on. We'll see if that triggers. I won't say what it is yet, but I will if it pops up in game. So let's have a look and see what we've got to start with. So China has some... Oh, before I get started, the DLC. I know loads of you will ask what DLC I've got activated for this. I've got quite a few. I haven't got the latest one about the Bosphorus. I haven't got the Scandinavian one. I've got the By Blood Alone, the Italian one, which it introduces the aircraft designer. Obviously, I've got the Man the Guns and Naval one. We won't be doing a Navy as China. There'll be no opportunity for that. I've got the aircraft designer, although I think is that in game now anyway. And Awakening the Tiger, or whatever that's called. And La Resistance for the spying stuff. Now, that actually might turn out to be a disadvantage having that turned on, because that requires quite a bit of input with your civilian factories to get off the ground. China has a terrible industry at the start of the war. So Japan is now going to be able to crack our codes on a far more regular basis than we'll be able to crack theirs. So by leaving that on, it might be a disadvantage. If you're playing through, you might want to disable that one in particular. I think that's going to be the thing that might cause an issue, but it's there. It's a challenge. Let's give it a go. So China has quite a few issues at the start of the game. For a start, you got very limited technology to research. We'll look at that in a moment. And then civilian factories, we've got 12. Now, do we put this into producing troops and military factories, or do we put it into the espionage so that we can try and crack the Japanese codes to give us more of a chance? It's a real tough one. We need to build absolutely everything. If we start the intelligence agency, it's going to take 5 of those for a month. I feel like we need that, so I am going to go with it. We'll see if that turns out to be a bad decision. So other than that, we need to start ploughing military factories into China. And another thing to be aware of is that these areas can be held. I haven't had a full playthrough as China before, but it's possible to hold Japan back here. It's very easy to lose the entire coast, and so I'm going to assume that this half of the country can be lost. So we're going to try and build whatever factories we can in this half, preferably. So we're going to set some factories away building. We're also going to need some more civilians because we will need them for trade. So we'll put them where we can. And we're just going to have to be kind of careful with that. We'll come back to that in a bit. Right, military factories. Look at this. We can scrap the dockyard for the naval cruiser straight away. Any navy that we have is going to be wiped out by Japan real early in the war. So we'll not worry about that. We'll send the navy, try and get them somewhere safe and out the way. We can probably do dockyards. I don't want to build anything, though, because it uses steel. And we have... If I have a look at this, supply, resources, we have sod all steel that it's going to be used up, basically, in producing guns. Actually, we have a spare thing. No, we're going to need trains. We are going to need that. That's another thing about China. The supply infrastructure is awful. So we are starting with a real deficit of everything here. We need trucks, but I don't think we can build them yet. And I want towed artillery as well. So we're going to use a little bit. Trains go down the bottom. But this is probably the main thing. We've got to get guns just kicked out the door. So that's that. Right, let's have a look at this. We need to go on industry for this because it is awful. So we're going to go on basic machine tools. There is something else that we can help with this in the focus tree. So we're going to go for those. and construction, because we need to get factories going up as fast as possible. We can't focus on industry research at the expense of military too long, though, because we've only got a year and a half, I think, before Japan invades. So we've got to be quite brutal with that. Missing equipment. It needs fighters and tactical bombers. No, it doesn't. Because what's going to happen... In fact, let's put the aircraft mode on. I'm going to disband the Japanese Air Force. Is there any more? Do we have any more? Yeah, we've got these guys, wherever they are. Well, not anymore. Again, fuel. Fuel's another issue for China. It's like everything is an issue for China. Right, let's put the Navy on. Because the Navy we do have, and the Navy we can at least try and get somewhere safe. So, I don't know if that's any safer, really. Do we have a Chinese admiral? We don't even have an admiral. This is how bad the situation is. So, missing equipment production. We're not actually we shouldn't be making those now. No, okay. That's fine. National focus. Fortunately, it's not too big for what we want to do. I mean, this is just a clear, obvious one. 2 off-map civilian factories straight away could actually be really useful. Unified industrial planning and the research for industry, that definitely could be useful. And an extra research slot. However, I think for some of these, we need to have more factories. Is it the second one? Yeah, we need to have more factories to get. So, it's going to be slow. Military Affairs Commission will just give us army experience. Now, that is really important, and you'll see why soon. Because China starts off with a whole load of debuffs on its army. And the principles of the people. Stability. Stability is awful. And that reduces factory output. So you can see that China starts off in a really bad situation with a very powerful and angry neighbour. So there's nothing bad to pick for the first one. 2 off-map civilian factories. I think I'm going to go for that because the civilian factory status is terrible right off the bat. No divisions in basic training. We need to sort this out as well. I think what I'm going to do first is train about 24 of these basic... I say basic. They're kind of like militia that we use for anything else. They're just weak infantry divisions, but they'll do. And it's about numbers of divisions on the ground to start with. So unassigned divisions, let's just gather our forces up. Put them into one massive army. And I think what we'll do is get all the cavalry together. And we'll railroad those over to the capital, expecting a fight. I don't think we have a decent cavalry commander, do we? A weird thing about China is it's quite well off for field marshals and not so well off for generals. But we don't have a special cavalry one. Oh, we have someone who's good on the attack. He's also very good on the defense, though. I'm thinking of using the cavalry as a counter-attacking force. A, because they can get there quickly. Well, A, because they can get there quickly. That's going to be about it. Do you know, counter-attacks might be really important to start with. For all he is the best general, we'll see if that works out to be a wise move or not. And let's put these in an aggressive field marshal. Who's the most aggressive? We've got a 5 up there. We've got 2 5s. We'll go for this guy, I think. Well, he's the Panzer leader. Panzers as China. That's going to be funny early on, as if. I think we're going to go for this guy actually. What's that one? He's cautious. Planning speed is not good. He's reckless. Promotion cost and a brilliant strategist. Let's go for him. I don't know if those will stack with the other guy, but anyway. So this is a counter-attacking force. And then we need to make a defensive source. So we should have... What have we got? We've got 24 regular infantry. Okay, that's good. We need someone who's quite defensive in this. We might go for the infantry leader. It doesn't really matter. They're all 3s. I'll go for the infantry leader then. And I'm going to use 24 divisions on the Japanese. Well, actually, I kind of want it on both. This is another trap to fall into. Because the supply situation is really that bad with China, it's tempting to ram this place where the combat will start with divisions. And then you can't supply them all. And they can't all reinforce. There's too many in there. So it doesn't actually work. So in the brief playthroughs I've had of China, and I haven't finished any of them, I found it worked better to have not too many guys in there, shall we say. Right, I'm going to set this as a fallback line. And he can go there and he can get training. So that's actually quite good. And we're going to put him in with a defensive field marshal. We've got the 4. It wants to be the best. So this is going to be the defensive line that we've got. Actually, just make sure that... Sorry. That's on him. Just make sure that's on that. So it doesn't overtrain the guys. Otherwise, that's highly annoying. It just goes on forever. And they're in a weakened state when Japan finally comes in. Yeah, we can see tanks on the border. So, and then we've got... these are all the same. Yeah, it is. Okay. So these guys are okay. We're going to take 4 out of there. And start a new army off, I think. However, they're all going to be in this same guy. This is our defensive force. Now, I need to start assigning people to defend the ports. And it's probably a dead loss, actually. And the way I found best to do this is to manually place the soldiers in the forts that you want. In the ports, rather. Oh, you should be railroading in there, I think. Because if you don't do that, if you set it, you can use the garrison order, which is that one, and set it to the area, which is fine. You can set them to only garrison the port cities where the Japanese are going to come. However, if they get pushed out, they will try and counterattack it, which for weak troops, it's just slaughter, and it's kind of pointless. So we're going to put 4 in each. Shanghai is going to be important. I'm going to have another army down south, I think. There's going to be a few of these places. Yeah, let's stick with 4s. These are kind of weak troops. And we're hopefully going to get some more of them. That's one as well there. Okay. That isn't a port, but they do tend to land there. And I just want to try and hold the sort of land bridge open as long as I can. And have some extra troops in case I'm able to make a counterattack over there. Which is kind of unlikely, but it's something we're going to try and do. Now these, in the ports, I don't think they need to be aggressive. So we're going to go with that guy. That's fine. These are going to go into the second army, which it doesn't matter. Might as well put those in. They're all going to get to fight, and we'll see where he needs to go in a minute. I will bring him down to Wuhan as well, because his army is clearly going to have to go down to one of these. All right, so that gets that. There's decisions available that I don't think we can do yet. It says there is. Oh, there is, but we don't want to do those at the moment. The dockyards are doing nothing. We could do with convoys, but they're going to get sunk on the seas. I don't have the steel. See, we're already short of steel. We are short of steel. So I'm going to try and land trade to get all the resources I need. That is actually quite bad. So we're going to give away another civilian factory for some steel. Now, until the war kicks off, we can go with someone like the United States. So can't do 2, but we can do 1. Oh, no, I don't want to do 2. That's a waste. We won't be able to use some of that extra. Okay, So no template for towed artillery. There will before long, don't you worry. Planes in reserve and that. All right. So preamble, intro done. That only took 15 minutes. Let's kick this off. Full speed. We did set a focus, didn't we? Yeah, it would tell me if we didn't. So we've got armies training. Or on pause. Thought it didn't look quite right. And already we can see our dastardly opponents just waiting for us across the border there. Where's that port at? So the port's in that city there. Okay, good to know. If it was there, the Japanese would try to take it. They landed behind us. That would be quite bad. Okay, so we've got an agency created. I don't want to waste too many civilian factories on this for too long, because we don't have a lot. However, we need to form the cryptology department. We do need to do this and just set things off going. And that'll be it. So that's basically 2 months worth of civilian factories we've wasted. Not all of them by any means, but yeah, look at this. It's going to be slow going. It'll be even slower if I don't take pause off. By the way, for those of you watching, this is just for you guys on YouTube. I'm not streaming this, so it's just it's unique and just for you guys because you requested it. Italy is kicking off. Well, yeah, we kind of expected that. By the way, because there's 2 different borders here, it's hard to draw a front line on there. It'll be easier once the war kicks off and they're all allied to Japan. But for now, I've put them as a fallback line, in case anyone's wondering. Ooh, we've got an operative. What have we got? Tough enemy operative. Ooh, intel. Counterintelligence. We'll do that. And they can sit in counterintelligence as well. We can modify the officer corps with 7 points. Are you sure about that? There's nothing there. I don't think we can do this, can we? No, we're going to need 20. We're going to need 20 points for these. We should look at that. The trouble is... Oh, is that command points? No, it's experience points. So that's an issue. You will see why. Looks like the Air Force is the one that we could have expanded. Details. So, we've got the radio interception for decryption power and the government cipher to slow the Japanese down. This is only going to be 5 factories. 2 months. I'm going to do that because I don't want them to be able to spam it against me. It's not going to make a big difference. And then, do I want to give up 5 factories for 4 months to get the one in for my advantage? No. I think I'll just do the decryption for now, or the encryption, and then we will focus on trying to get our infrastructure and our armies built up as much as we can. See, population, manpower is okay. We're going to need a lot more than that, but there's something else we can do to boost that. So invite foreign investors. So that's 2 factories which we've gained. Reach out to the British. That's 35 days. That's not too bad. Let's have a look. Opinion. One of them must be true. Opinion of China at least 75. China is a subject. No, we're at peace. Oh, this is one of the following. Okay. What do we get then? We just get better opinion of them? The Burma Road would give 2 off-map military factories. Okay, that one would be good. We should go with Britain, definitely. I think I've done the... I think you can go with more than one. I've gone to the Soviet Union before. That might trigger something later on, which we'll talk about later. Unified planning. The industry bonus sounds like a really good idea. Oh, let's go for the military. I can't wait anymore for this. This one is super important. You'll see... Well, I'll tell you what. I'll show you right now. Look at the debuff that we get. It's not that one. So incompetent officers is not good to start with. That's the one that reduces population for recruitment. The army corruption. That is a major problem. 30% penalties on attack, defense, and mobilization speed. We reduce that by spending a crap ton of experience. So I need to get... I need to get military specialists involved. And any bonus I can for experience. So, things will be kicking off in Europe at some point, but we don't need to worry ourselves about that. We need our factories, we need troops churning out, we need our ports defending, we need to try and pick up some allies. We're going to try and form the Chinese clique, whatever it's called. Okay, and this is going to be the last one. And this is just hopefully to stop the Japanese being able to spam their code breaking so often on us. No enemy cipher. Oh, have I got the wrong one? No, I don't think I have, but we will try and do that anyway. It's going to take 960 days, so we're not spending anything on that to get better. We're not expecting to be able to use that, maybe later in the war. So you can see now why I was reluctant to have that feature turned on, because having it turned on gives China a big disadvantage. And any other nation that doesn't have a great industry with factories to spare. Oh, hang on. Did I not click on map to add country? I thought I did that. China? Well, obviously I didn't put that in. Sorry about that. Government Cipher School. Agency upgraded. So that's done. There are some other good things. We're going to leave that for now. We want the factories. I know about the template. Don't worry about the template. Right, let's see what's going on. Kick this off. How are the armies looking? So they should have probably trained up already. By the way, the cavalry division, this looks really, really bad. Let me have a look. That's our cavalry division. They're not going to counterattack anything, so they need artillery adding and beefing up with troops desperately. We've got basic machine tools, which is good. And we're going to go with concentrated industry because we're going to go for the absolute maximum that we can for the factory output. Let them be bombed. If they want to fly over us, they can bomb us. We'll build factories faster than they can bomb them. One day. So the Military Affairs Commission, that instantly gives us some XP gain. That's cool. I need to get the political power up. What else? Extra base stability. Oh, extra base stability is nice. I mean, all this is kind of really important. Unlocks army reform decisions. How vital is that? I suspect that is very important. Let's have a look what the army reform decisions are. Army reform. Corruption, incompetence, and cowardice are rife at every level of command in our army. Solving this will be a long process. So... okay, I can only trigger it when I have 100 army experience. And it takes 3 months. And when it's removed, I reduce that debuff by 10% to the division attack, speed, and mobilization. So I need to gain 300 army experience. So that is something that needs to go now. I don't need to do it, though, until I'm getting close to 100 experience. So if we wanted to do something before then... stability would be nice, just to boost up political power gain and factory output. That one gives me... I'm going to go for that next. The industry bonus could be good. So, I mean, we're building slowly with our 15 factories. We're trading one away. Where are the other 3? Consumer goods? Oh no, consumer goods, it says 15. How many factories do we have? Oh, I see, right up here. That makes more sense then. Right, so we've got a modified government. We've got to go for anyone in military high command who's going to give us Who are the ones that give us the experience now? Do I have to go for this genius? Division defense plus 15%. And he gives us more XP every day. Defense is going to be super important. I'm going to hold off to get 200 and save the command points. We're nearly there. Oh, hang on, we've got new divisions. Excellent. Ah, I needed to see where to send these guys, didn't I? So we've got Fuzhou currently not defended. Nice. So we've got construction 1. I mean, we are going to need oil at some point. We can maybe trade for some with the Soviet Union. We're just going to need factories. Anyway, we also need radios important because of the reinforce rate. And there's no point of stacking loads of divisions in a square if they're not going to be able to reinforce. So, sadly, that's also on the list. Let's wait till we get 200. The guys in the divisions will wait till there's 4. They're churning out nicely. Okay. That is quite cool. Let's railroad them in to there. And start putting them on training. Nice. We're churning these guys out really sweetly. I'm under no illusion that these weakened divisions will be able to hold back the Japanese onslaught, but it's not a bad start. I should probably try and reinforce the capital. And it's generally just good having guys in reserve. Okay. I also need to spend some experience increasing the template of our main infantry division. I need to get this basically up to combat width of 20. I think, anyway. So Spain's off to war. It's nothing to do with us. We're staying out of that one. Not that we have much choice in it. Ethiopia has capitulated. There's no great surprise. Unified Industrial Planning, which gives us the research bonus. So from there, adding infrastructure is nice. Adding science is nice. Still way off on that. Shall I go to reach out to Britain? I don't think it's any immediate benefit. But the Burma Road... don't know if I can go straight down to that. It's only 35 days though, so I'm going to tick it. So we're going to get that kicked off. Britain could be a natural ally against the Japanese. Oh, one thing. I don't know if it's possible for China to actually join the Allies. I guess if you don't form your own Chinese faction, it might be possible. That might be something for another playthrough to explore. The Olympics are finished in 36. And we've got 200 points. Nice. So let's go and put in my... is it Chief of the Army? This genius. 15% division defense and a load of experience gained daily. So that was a key one to get in there. We spent some points. And our Field Marshal, we can spend some points here. So we've got division recovery rate or organization. I would like to say reinforce rate, but I'm going to go for this. Because it is... well, I'm going to get both eventually. That's good. And that's on the Field Marshal. It's going to be a slaughter. What can I spend here, actually? The Officer Corps roles. I can make him a morale specialist. So he gains army experience gain. Or I can make him an entrenchment specialist. Now, that reduces mobilization speed, but increases entrenchment. I think I'm going to spend that. Because we're going to be sitting on the defensive a lot. And as he skills up, he's currently at level 4. So that is +3 entrenchment for all the defensive armies. And experience gain for 5 command points. I'm going to do that. It's small things like that which might just make the difference. It's not there, is it? How do I do that? Let me find my way back to the officer corps. It stopped flashing, which has really annoyed me because now I don't know how I get back to that screen. It's not in there. Is it via that? It's not via that. Oh, here we go. Is it Theorist Military High Command? It's not that way. You see, you can play this game for hundreds of hours and still forget how to get to a menu. I thought it was through this. We've already got a guy in there. So it's not that. It's not those. This is slightly annoying me. It'll flash up again at some point. Where the hell did I go for this? I honestly can't remember, and that is infuriating. I don't really understand why it disappears. I can't click on that to get it. I don't understand why it disappears off his thing. Can I not do it from here somewhere? You would think so, wouldn't you? But not there. And it's not from there. I don't want a preferred tactic. I can't set him in a role from here. Oh, here we go. Officer Corps roles. So we're going to put him as the entrenchment specialist. Nice. All these roles we assign, they do burn up our maximum command points. And we will need to spend that to get more generals. But at the moment, it should be fine. Okay. Off we go again. Right, so we've got British cooperation.